across any platform because he understands how to reboot and how to reset and how to manipulate himself to believing this. I have more to prove. Yes, did he have a declining year? Of course. And I know my counterpart over here is going to let us know all about it. But his I have more to prove is more than just statistically. It's about wins for him. He doesn't grade himself on how well he performed and how many numbers he put up personally. That's not what Tom Brady gets caught up. He wants to win, period. It's all about winning. When he doesn't win or when he doesn't get to where they feel or he feels that they should be as an organization, it's a loss. And when you play within an organization that is championship or bust, something that he was able to establish early on in his career, this is your mentality. And this is what makes you great. So yes, to himself, and that's all that matters, he does still have something to prove.
So where you are incorrect is that...
Let me tell you what
well, no, is that I don't care what he did this past year on this question. You can't go backwards in legacy in my eyes. There's no athlete. It's not fair to say had he retired a year ago, he would be here, but because he kept playing, he went down. No, he, even playing poorly this year, enhanced his legacy. You know why? Because he still was the best 42-year-old quarterback we've ever seen. It's just it's a very short list, and most of them were terrible as opposed to just below average. But I want to talk about this year because Brady... You're right that maybe he believes he has something left to prove. But if he does, he's the only person in the world who believes it. He's got nothing left to prove.
Absolutely.
Brady, if there were any doubts remaining about who the greatest quarterback of all time is, he removed them 4 years ago. 2016 Super Bowl, Atlanta Falcons, 28-3. Guys, I got it, and most impressive about it, the players on his team believed it, and the Falcons were worried about it. That gave him his 5th championship. That passed him on Montana on the count the rings argument. It also was a no questions asked Tom Brady-led Super Bowl. That was not a great Belichick defense. That was not a brilliant game plan. That was a, we are getting our heads handed to us, but my hand will stay calm. I won't be shaky. Get on my back, and I will take us to victory. Since that moment, he's won a league MVP, and they won another Super Bowl. So there is nothing left for him to prove whatsoever. Go ahead, Jim.
Can I disagree with you just for a second? What's the one thing he's wanted to do that no one else has ever done? He wants to play till age 45. What's the one thing no one else seems to think he can do? Win without Bill Belichick. What's the other thing? Win outside of New England. I think aside from the stats and the wins, he's now at a different place in his career where it's time for him to prove that he can do this, but in his own, without any competition. It's him and him alone.
Okay, but then we are asking, then he has something to prove again. The age 45 is something he set in his own brain. That was no one else's standard. And the do it without Belichick is so unfair. Because how many championships Terry Bradshaw win without Chuck Noll? How many Bart Starr win without Vince Lombardi? How many? And I know Marino never won a championship, but Marino was with Shula the whole time. Troy Aikman was with Jimmy Johnson, and then Barry Switzer last year, but that was Jimmy's team. These great quarterbacks are hand in hand. John Elway never won a Super Bowl until Mike Shanahan got there. They are Joe Montana with Bill Walsh. They are hand in hand with great coaches. So this idea that Brady would be an outlier because he's been teamed with a great coach forever, it's quite the opposite. It's very rare to cross sports for a moment. You have LeBron, a guy who can go to the finals with David Black, can go to the finals with Mike Brown, can go to the finals with Eric Spoelstra, can go to the finals with Ty Lue, and is about to go to the finals with Frank Vogel. More often, it's Michael Jordan is amazing. And he had Phil Jackson alongside him the whole way. Same with Kobe and Shaq, or Kobe and Powell. Phil Jackson alongside him the whole way. Duncan and Popovich. So I don't look at, for Brady, Belichick as an asterisk. I look at, and people think I'm an anti-Tom Brady guy. I'm anti-Tom Brady in 2019. Tom Brady from 2001 to 2019, it's the greatest run I've ever seen from a football player ever. So I don't think, Greg, he's got a damn thing left to prove to anyone but himself because he's tricked himself into believing it.
I'm with you there. And Jenna, you bring up a couple really good points. However, I just don't think, and this is what you were getting at, that he really cares about winning without Bill Belichick. Because it's solely about winning. When you look at even entering into last season and all the rifts that we kind of saw going into, or I'm sorry, 2 years ago, all the rifts that we kind of saw, and the one thing that they said both, once they got in-house, there's one common goal.
Sure.
Win.
Yep.
There's one shared vision, shared goal, and that is winning. So I don't care what agenda Belichick may have. I know who he is when he walks in this building. I don't care what agenda Brady may have outside of this building. I know what he's going to put forth and the effort he's going to give us when he steps on that field. That's all that matters.
Tom Brady turns 43 when? In August?
Yeah.
The one thing he's had this year that he hasn't really had in years past are doubters and naysayers about him and his ability to continue playing. I just think he wants to show people he can still do it.
Oh, I think he wants to.
This year.
I just
With or without Bill Belichick.
I just think it would be, I just want to establish this now. If he goes somewhere else and fails, it is not a failure. It is someone who could have, he was so ahead of the game for everyone, from everyone else, and he just kept running it back because he wanted to. And it should not lessen what he's already accomplished. You should never go backwards by continuing to play as far as you would have been better off quitting. Right. Continuing to put yourself, to quote, was it Teddy Roosevelt, make yourself the man in the arena, that is honorable, even if you end up failing in that arena as they did this year. And so I truly feel that way, and I hate the fact that people think I dislike the guy. I don't dislike the guy. I was just right that he's not good anymore. but that doesn't affect his legacy.
Coming up, is Dak Prescott poised to have an MVP caliber season under Mike McCarthy? That's next on First Things First. This is Greg Jennings joining us this morning. It is cold here in New York City.
Good to see you.
What stuff? It's like
he lives in Minneapolis.
And also you played, right? In Green Bay.
Minneapolis and Green Bay.
You know what 20s is. It's not quite.
It's gorgeous outside, America.
It is.
Gorgeous if you were bundled up. Nanuka the North. All right, let's start the show. Hey, leave it to Jerry Jones to interrupt all the NFL playoff previews with a preview of what's to come in Dallas. That's where we kick things off this morning. Mike McCarthy introduced as the 9th head coach of the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. It's a nice smile from him. The last time McCarthy was on the big stage in Arlington, Texas, he was hoisting a Lombardi trophy for the Packers. I was there covering that. Now McCarthy taking over for a Cowboys team that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 25 years. So there is no doubt that when it comes to coaching in Dallas, for a guy like Jerry Jones, the expectations are high.
I'm just going to say this and to the fans, and the commitment will be unwavering. But I won my first Super Bowl here in North Texas at AT&T Stadium. And I just want to tell you, I am anxious and excited to get to work on winning the next Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys.
I like it. Expectations are high for Mike McCarthy. Nick, you expect McCarthy's Cowboys to be Super Bowl contenders next season with the roster that you saw him have this season?
No, I don't. They won't have the same roster next season because they're going to pay Dak and they're going to have to pare away at least some pieces of that roster. The Cowboys are wildly popular. They're polarizing. They're at times controversial. What they are not or have not been the last quarter century is contenders. Twice since they won a Super Bowl in '94, they have been legitimate Super Bowl contenders. 2007, the year after Bill Parcells left, first year with Wade Phillips, they were 13-3, only to be upset at home in their very first playoff game by Eli Manning and the New York Giants. And then 2014,